You ever look at these expert pistol lists and feel like the joke's on you? Same tired names, same bold claims. Then you hit the range and those so-called legends either jam or get left behind in real life. I watched it play out all through 2025. Guys who swore by their sure thing quietly moved on. No posts, no excuses, just a silent swap when the old pick started letting them down. What actually survived? Not the perfect picks from blogs, but the pistols that kept working when the spotlight was gone. This list isn't about flex or fan clubs. It's about what still earns trust heading into 2026, when a bad call costs more than just pride. And when I say experts, I mean instructors, range officers, department armorers, and shooters who see guns fail for a living. Not guys chasing views. Stay with me because there's a pick here that'll split the crowd. And one overrated favorite that finally fell off the throne. Most folks scrolling through pistol lists love to shout about the Canik Mete MC9 Prime failing tests. I've seen the YouTube comments. Jammed after 200 rounds. Support's a joke. Don't trust it for carry. Can't blame him for being wary. This thing isn't glamorous and Canik's not winning beauty contests. But here's the thing. My MC9 Prime has been running clean since the day I brought it home last year. Not a single hiccup, no need for warranty calls, and I've fed it everything from steel case garbage to hollow points just to see if it'd choke. Never happened. In my little Texas town, you see these more than you'd guess. Civilian owners, serious concealed carriers, and the types who actually shoot their guns instead of just posting about them. I even asked a local instructor and he shrugged. Hand it to a newbie and they'll still land hits after a couple boxes. That's not something you say about most of the trendy micros everyone flipped in 2024 and 2025. Too snappy, too picky, too much drama. If you told me a year ago the Hellcat Pro would still be in my regular carry lineup, I'd have laughed. I picked it up expecting to ditch it for something flashier, just like all the other new and improved compacts that passed through my safe. But every time I tried to replace it, SIGs, Glocks, whatever trend was peaking, the Hellcat Pro kept clawing its way back onto my belt. I've noticed something most folks won't admit. Half the experts I know don't brag about carrying one, but I keep spotting Hellcat Pros in their holsters at matches and training sessions. They'll hype the big brands online, but when it's their own skin on the line, plenty of them quietly stick with the Springfield. No fanfare, just the pistol they trust to keep running, day after day. Was I skeptical? Of course. I figured it was just another marketing move, maybe a Glock wannabe. But after a year of rough use, dirty mags, and a diet of whatever ammo was on sale, it's never blinked. When you see what keeps earning a spot with real shooters year after year, you start to realize trust isn't always loud, it's earned in silence. Last year in late December, the range was half empty, and the only folks sticking around were the older shooters. The ones who've seen it all, who've experienced everything in their life. They'd seen the truth. We'd been at it for hours, and by the time the sun dipped, most of the fancy pistols were out of commission. Failures, jams, limp triggers, but there was this battered old 92 FS getting passed around, still cycling like nothing happened. Didn't matter what anyone brought, SIGs, Glocks, a couple of tricked out compacts. When the dust and cold set in, it was the Beretta everyone wanted to borrow. I heard the same line twice. When I'm gone, this one's for my grandson. Everything else, he can sell. They said it half joking, but you could tell that's how they really felt. This was the gun that outlived arguments and egos. You can talk all you want about specs and upgrades, but the 92 FS is still the pistol people trust when everything else quits. Real world respect like that, you don't buy it, and you sure as hell don't build it on Instagram. It's earned one long night at a time. If you think expert recommendations are all about what's new, wait until you see what happens when a target pistol steps up next. Most of the time when I go to the range with my homies, nobody's impressed by accuracy claims anymore. We've all heard it before. Every new pistol is laser precise until you actually put rounds downrange. So when I showed up that day with a group of shooters who don't hand out compliments, not even to each other, I honestly expected the Shadow 2 target to be more hype than substance. I took my turn first, half expecting nothing special. First mag in, my groups tightened up so much I actually stopped and checked the target twice. I thought maybe it was just one of those lucky strings. Then I started watching the others. These weren't casual shooters, local instructors, guys with twice my trigger time. Same result. Same holes stacking on top of each other at distances where most pistols start to unravel. That's when the mood shifted. The joke stopped. Even the old heads who never say a nice word about anything started waiting in line for another turn. Didn't matter who was shooting. The Shadow 2 target just erased excuses. Tight groups, easy follow-ups, no drama. By the end, everyone landed on the same quiet conclusion. This isn't just another accurate pistol, it's the new measuring stick. If you call yourself an expert in 2026 and haven't run one, you're missing something important. Some guns show up in every debate, but this one slips into the world quietly, right where it matters. Forget the guys posting in forums or flexing at the shop. The X Macro is the pistol you'll spot on the belts of people who'd rather never talk about guns at all. These aren't hobbyists, not range rats. They're the everyday carriers. Folks who carry because they need peace of mind, not because they want attention. That's what makes this gun worth watching. The X Macro is the only pistol I've seen that the non-gun guys actually keep on them every single day. Not once in a while, every day, without complaints about weight, sharp edges, or awkward draw. It's comfortable enough that it never gets left at home. Shoots smooth enough that even the most reluctant carriers will run a box through without getting flinched out. Doesn't feel delicate, never gets babied. It just does the job quietly. I've seen it stick with people who never keep anything, who drop a carry piece at the first sign of discomfort or doubt. That says more than any hype ever could. That kind of quiet confidence is exactly why the experts still nod at this one for 2026. Funny thing, right after you see all these subtle winners, you run into a pistol that refuses to blend in. The list is about to get loud. Nobody sits around boasting about their house gun. It's not a showpiece, and it sure isn't in my daily carry rotation. That's not its job. What I kept hearing from old hands, folks who've stopped playing the Pistol of the Month game, is that the PDP just stays loaded and ready, right where it needs to be. I didn't buy into it right away, but the first time I set mine up by the bed, I understood. When you're groggy, heart thumping, maybe it's pitch dark, and you hear a noise, this is the gun that lands in your grip just right. No fiddling, no overthinking. Sights line up, grip settles, and suddenly you're steady, ready for whatever. I've seen plenty of guns get swapped out and hyped up since this came out back in 2021, but the PDP just stuck around. Never flashy, but never let anyone down when it counted. Is it big? Absolutely. Not exactly built for comfort, but that's what keeps it calm when you're anything but. It won't win style points, but it earns trust quietly year after year. If you're only after something light or slick, keep looking. But anyone who's seen real trouble, there's a reason this one never collects dust. Stick around. The next pick is the one nobody expects to see this high, and it might just punch a hole in every best of list you trust. If you watch my videos regularly, you might remember what I shared last time about the FN509 Tactical. But this story just got a lot more real. I've got a friend over at the Harris County Sheriff's Office in Texas. Just last month, he pulled me aside and said the department finally signed the papers. No rumors, no test run. They're rolling out the FN509 Tactical as the new duty sidearm. This isn't a marketing campaign or a one-off purchase. They're betting on this pistol to keep their deputies covered through 2026 and beyond. Hearing it from someone who's lived it, not just read the press release, hit different. I always respected the 509 Tactical. Always thought it was maybe overbuilt for the average shooter. But when a department with real lives on the line makes this kind of switch, it forces you to rethink what enough gun actually means. They spent years testing, arguing, and pushing this pistol through hell before landing here. The FN509 Tactical didn't win on flash or social media. It earned a spot on those belts because when backup isn't guaranteed and the risk is real, this is the one they trust. Think a police contract is the final word? The next pick shattered that logic for me. I'll be straight, I don't own the Laugo Alien. Around my usual haunts, you just don't see one. But my local pawn shop finally let me borrow theirs for a weekend, so I took it out to Dallas, Elm Fork Shooting Sports. That's a place where nobody's impressed by price tags. They've seen it all. The Alien got a few laughs when I opened the case. Guys joked about the cost. Some older shooters just shook their heads. But after the first mag, it got real quiet. The targets came back. Tight groups, center hits. Next shooter, same story. Suddenly, everyone wanted a turn, and guys started checking listings on their phones. This thing isn't just hype. The fixed barrel means the alignment never shifts. Accuracy stays locked in. Sights are mounted on a stationary rail so they don't move with the slide, and the ultra-low bore axis keeps muzzle rise nearly zero. Felt recoil? It's practically gone thanks to a gas system that tames the snap. All that tech. But what matters is that it makes even skeptics rethink their favorites. No, it's not for everyone. But when the old guard lines up for a try, you know the Alien changed something. But don't settle in. The next pistol on this list proves that real legends never die no matter what year it is. Didn't take anyone's word for this one. I went out, hit nearly every gun shop and dealer I know, and just started asking. No phone surveys, no filtered lists. What's actually moving out the door for concealed carry this year? Didn't matter where I asked, the answer was the same. Ruger M. Forget internet hype. This is the pistol real people are putting money on, month after month. The M isn't just a hot seller in one spot. It's topping charts everywhere, and shops aren't having to push it. Folks come in already knowing what they want. Dealers just nod and pull a box from the shelf. Even the instructors who see every next best thing have to admit, this is the one they keep hearing about from students and new shooters. I shot one myself. No drama, no surprises. Comfortable, easy to conceal, does what you want. That's why you keep seeing it in holsters, not just behind counters. It's not just a trend for this month. It's the best CCW pistol sold all year. And for 2026, it's definitely a top recommendation. If a gun didn't deliver, sales would fall off. Simple as that. The RXM is still selling because it works. But before you think it's all about popularity, wait till you see what took the top spot. A pistol built for a whole different level of punishment. Don't touch the beast until you're a pro shooter. This isn't some friendly range toy. The Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 10mm is built for people who actually need power, not just talk about it. Most shooters will never run a gun like this, and honestly, most shouldn't. First time I ran one, it felt like strapping a wild animal to my hands. That 10mm snap, you feel it all the way through your bones. But that's the point. This isn't for comfort, and it's not here to coddle you. It's about raw force and total control. If you can handle it, every serious shooter I've watched run this pistol comes to the same conclusion. Pros, range officers, real-world trainers, they all keep it in rotation for one brutal reason. The M&P 2.0 10mm eats the hottest loads, takes punishment all day, and just keeps spitting brass when most pistols are tapping out. Here, reliability isn't some marketing line. It's a challenge the gun throws right back at you. This isn't 2025 anymore. In 2026, if you want a gun that'll expose your weakness and never apologize, this is it. No pistol screams expert approved louder than the M&P 2.0 10mm. But hey, don't tune out yet. There's a bonus surprise coming up that even the experts didn't see coming.
Alright, you've heard the Echelon name thrown around for months, and so have I. Honestly, I thought it was just Springfield making noise, until I finally put rounds to the 4.0C. It isn't some overhyped plastic. The grip settles in your hand, trigger snaps clean, and it keeps running no matter how rough you get with it. I tossed mine in a bag with loose ammo and sand from the back of my truck. Didn't choke, didn't flinch. I've seen stubborn Glock loyalists try this thing and suddenly start making excuses for why they need another pistol. No one's calling it a classic yet, but for something this new, it's getting more real-world trust than most old names. Is it going to be the next legend? Time will tell. But in 2026, this is the bonus pick I'd hand to anyone who doesn't want to baby their carry gun, and it's about to make a lot of experts rethink their favorites.
Every serious instructor I trust, Texas, Ohio, doesn't matter the zip code, still recommends the Glock 43 XMOS for daily carry in 2026. And it's not just trainers. I know a few off-duty cops who call this their don't think twice pistol when the uniform comes off. Early winters when you see who actually carries what, the big gun starts staying home, layers come out, and suddenly that old carry comfort debate gets real. Even I held out for a while, stubborn about my full size, but I started noticing something. The shooters I respect, guys with any gun in the world at their disposal, quietly switched to the 43 XMOS when the cold rolled in. No hype, no ego, just a pistol that fits under a jacket, draws easy, shoots straight, and doesn't jam. This isn't some pocket gun punchline. It's what gets carried when everything else feels like a burden. It may not look impressive, but in 2026, it's still on every expert's list for one reason: you'll actually take it with you. Most folks pick guns based on comfort, looks, or the latest ad. But the guys who think a step ahead, the ones who worry about supply chains and ammo shelves going bare, always circle back to the PR57. This isn't the gun you brag about at the range. It's the one you quietly stash away, knowing it'll still work when everything else is out of reach. Why? Because .2 WMR isn't everybody's first choice, but it's the one caliber you find in weird gas stations and backwoods hardware stores, even when the usual 9mm is long gone. The top-fed system isn't flashy, but it skips a lot of those magazine failures that trip up other pistols. You can throw this gun in a pack, forget about it for months, and trust it to run when you finally need it. This gun makes sense when you stop thinking like a shopper and start thinking like someone who actually needs a backup plan. In 2026, that's why real experts still keep the PR57 around, just in case the easy options disappear overnight. Last month, I swung by a shop over in Fort Worth. Plenty of real shooters and more gun stores than most towns can count. Didn't mention brands, just asked, "What's outselling everything else as a Glock alternative?" No hesitation. The guy points straight at the PSA Dagger Compact and says, "That's the one," all month long. Then he dropped the real prediction. This thing's set to be the #1 Glock killer for 2026. And it's not just about saving money. Folks keep coming back after actually putting rounds through it. Reliable, handles well, and doesn't feel like a knockoff when you've got it in your hands. What really caught my eye? Even the die-hard Glock fans are picking these up. Some keep them as backups, but more and more are switching their main carry. This isn't some internet hype. It's what the experts here actually recommend for Glock dependability without Glock pricing. If you think Glock's grip can't be challenged, watch Fort Worth this year. The dagger's cutting in deeper than most expected. You've heard what made the cut, but here's the uncomfortable part. No expert, no list, and definitely no YouTuber gets the last word. The guns that keep earning trust aren't the ones plastered across every blog. They're the ones still cycling when nobody's watching. So let's hear it. Which pistol failed you when it mattered? Which gun did you bet on, only to get burned? Drop your real story below. No hype, no heroics, just what actually happened when the cameras were off. Next time, I'm tearing into the most overrated picks that so-called experts still push. Naming names, burning bridges. You don't want to miss it. And if you think your favorite got snubbed today, just wait. Next year, it might finally earn its way back. I'm Steve. Keep second guessing and keep shooting.